Hello and welcome to Nostalgic Wanderings. Tonight we're drifting back to medieval times to quietly follow the gentle, ordinary day of a fox moving through an old stone town. The afternoon light falls long and golden across the narrow street of the medieval town, touching the weathered timber frames and whitewashed plaster of the houses that lean close together overhead. Dust moves slowly through the slanted beams, catching the last warmth of the day. Somewhere beyond the peaked roofs and smoking chimneys, a church bell rings the hour, its sound rolling, soft and deep over the rooftops, fading into the distance where the castle walls rise against the sky. Beneath the eaves of a grain merchant's storehouse, in the shadowed space where wood meets stone, a fox rests. Her russet coat is tucked close around her, tail curved along her side. Her eyes are half closed. She has been here since midday, when the sun was high and the street was filled with voices. Now the voices are fewer. The day is quieting. She breathes slowly. The stone beneath her holds the coolness of shadow. Above, the weathered wood smells of age and grain, dust and rain from seasons past. She does not move. There is no need yet to move. A cart passes on the cobbles. The wooden wheels sound hollow and rhythmic against the stone, a sound that comes and goes and fades around the corner. The fox's ear flickers, then stills. She knows this sound. It is part of the day, like the bells, like the footsteps, like the wind that sometimes moves through the narrow spaces between buildings. The light shifts. It moves across the wall opposite, climbing slowly upward as the sun descends. The fox watches without watching, her gaze soft and unfocused. A pigeon lands nearby, pecks at something between the stones, then lifts again with a flutter of wings. The fox does not stir. Time passes in the way of afternoons, slowly, without hurry. A woman walks past, carrying a basket. Her footsteps are steady and tired. The hem of her long woolen skirt brushes the cobbles. She does not see the fox. The fox sees her, the way a fox sees: movement, shape, presence, no threat. The woman continues on. Her footsteps fade. The light grows softer now, warmer, the color of old honey. The shadows deepen in the doorways and alcoves. The fox rises. She stretches, long and low, her front legs extended, her back arched. She shakes once, and her tail fluffs slightly. Then she steps out from beneath the eaves onto the cobblestones. The stones are still warm from the day. She moves along the edge of the street, close to the walls where the shadows pool. Her paws make no sound. She pauses at the corner, nose lifted. The air carries many things: wood smoke, horse, bread baking, the green smell of the river beyond the town walls, the close smell of people and animals and earth. She turns down a narrower lane. Here the houses lean close together, their upper stories jutting out above the street, almost touching. The light barely reaches the ground. The cobbles are uneven, worn smooth in some places, cracked and broken in others. Water has pooled in a low spot, reflecting the strip of sky above. The fox steps around it. A cat sits on a windowsill, watching. The fox passes below. They regard each other briefly without interest. The cat is well fed. The fox is not hunting. They are simply two creatures in the same space, aware of each other in the way that animals are. And then the fox moves on. She comes to a wider street where market stalls line both sides. The market has closed. The stalls are empty now, their wooden frames bare, but the smells remain. Fish and onions and leather, spilled ale, crushed herbs underfoot. A few scraps lie scattered on the cobbles. The fox noses at a fish head, sniffs, leaves it. She is not hungry yet. The street opens into a small square. A stone well stands at its centre, its wooden roof dark with age. A bucket hangs from a rope. The rope creaks very slightly as the evening breeze begins to stir. Around the square, houses rise with their timber frames and whitewashed plaster, their small windows shuttered or showing the soft glow of firelight within. The fox crosses the square. She moves like water, flowing, pausing, flowing again. She stops at the well, sniffs the base where water has splashed and moss grows thick and soft. The stone is cool and damp. She does not drink. She simply pauses there as she has paused there on other evenings, in the way that foxes return to places they know. A door opens, light spills out, and voices and the smell of cooking meat and onions. A man steps into the square, empties a bucket of wash water across the cobbles. The water runs in dark streams between the stones. The man goes back inside. The door closes. The light is contained again. The fox continues on. She takes the lane that slopes downward towards the eastern part of the town. The houses here are older, some of them lean, their timbers settling after centuries. The thatch on the roofs is thick and dark, patched in places with newer straw. Swallows have built nests under the eaves, but the swallows are gone now, roosting, silent. The lane narrows further, becomes almost a tunnel, where the houses press close. The fox moves through this dim passage, her eyes adjusting easily. Ahead, the passage opens, and she emerges beside a long, low building with wide doors standing open. The stable. The smell is strong, hay and horses, leather and manure. The warm animal, smell of living things kept close together. The fox pauses at the threshold. Inside, the light is very dim, just the last of the daylight filtering through cracks in the walls. She can hear the horses shifting, the soft sound of their breathing, the rustle of hay as one moves in its stall. She does not enter. She skirts the edge, moving along the outside wall where the hay is piled high against the stone. Bits of straw have fallen and scattered. She steps over them, her nose close to the ground, reading the layers of scent. Mice, rats, sparrows, cats, the dogs that are sometimes chained nearby. She knows all of these. Beyond the stable is the smithy. The forge is cold now, or nearly cold. The smith has banked the fire and gone home. But the stones still hold heat, and the smell of iron and coal and hot metal lingers heavy in the air. The fox approaches cautiously. She has learned that this place can be loud during the day, full of sharp sounds and bright fire. But now it is quiet. The anvil stands dark against the dimming sky. Tools hang on the walls, their shapes unclear in the shadows. The fox sniffs at the threshold, at the iron filings scattered in the dust, at the water trough where the smith cools his work. The water is still warm. She does not drink from it. She moves on. The street rises again, climbing toward the center of the town. The cobbles are steeper here, and in wet weather they are slick, but tonight they are dry. The fox climbs steadily, her body low and efficient. She is built for this, for moving, for travelling, for covering ground. At the top of the rise, the street widens. To one side stands the town bakery, a solid building of stone and timber with a wide chimney. The baking is done for the day, but warmth still radiates from the walls, and the smell of bread hangs in the air, rich and yeasty, mixed with the sweetness of the day's pastries and the char of the oven fire. The fox sits for a moment in the shadow of the bakery wall, feeling the warmth against her side. She is not aware of comfort in the way a human might be, but she registers warmth, the absence of cold, and she remains there, breathing slowly until the warmth has soaked into her fur. Then she rises and continues on. The bell rings again. Vespers. The sound comes from the monastery at the northern edge of the town. Within the walls, the notes are deep and measured, calling the monks to prayer, marking the passage of the day into evening. The fox does not react to the sound. It is as constant as the wind or the movement of the sun. She follows a street that runs parallel to the town wall. The wall is old, built of enormous stones fit together without mortar, though mortar has been added in places over the years. It rises high above the rooftops, higher than 3 men standing. In some places, wooden platforms have been built along the top, where the watchmen walk. The fox cannot see them from here, but she knows they are there. She has heard their footsteps above, the creak of the wood beneath their weight. The street is empty now. The few people still moving through the town are going home, going to the taverns, going to their evening tasks. The fox passes beneath a hanging sign, too dim now to read, creaking on its iron bracket. She passes a row of houses with their shutters closed, smoke rising from their chimneys, the smell of peat and wood. A dog barks somewhere behind a wall. Another answers. The fox pauses, listens, judges distance and direction. The barking fades. She continues on. She comes to the monastery gate. It is a large wooden door set into the stone wall, banded with iron, closed now for the night. Beside it, a smaller door stands open. Through this opening, the fox can see a courtyard paved with flat stones, and beyond that, the monastery itself, its walls pale in the fading light. She slips through the smaller door. The courtyard is empty and very quiet. Along one side, a covered walkway runs beneath arched openings, and beyond that, another courtyard can be glimpsed, this one with a garden. The fox can smell earth and growing things, herbs and cabbages, the turned soil of recent work. She crosses the courtyard, her paws silent on the stone. In the centre stands a fountain, though no water runs now. It is a simple basin of stone, dark with age and damp. The fox sniffs at it, then moves on. The garden courtyard is small, enclosed by walls on 3 sides and the monastery on the 4th. Raised beds are laid out in neat rows, divided by paths of raked gravel. The plants are dark shapes now, barely visible. The fox follows one of the paths, her nose close to the ground. A beetle crosses in front of her. She watches it, but does not interfere. It continues on, and so does she. At the far end of the garden, a door in the monastery wall stands slightly ajar. Light shows through the crack, very faint, the flicker of candlelight. The fox approaches. She can hear voices, low and rhythmic, the sound of monks chanting their office. The sound is muffled by the stone, distant, more a vibration than a sound. She does not enter. She sits outside the door, listening without listening, simply present. The chanting continues, rises, falls, continues. It is a sound that marks the hours, a human sound, but as constant and unchanging as bird calls or wind. After a time, the fox rises and retraces her steps through the garden, across the courtyard, out through the small door. The street receives her again. The light is nearly gone now. The sky above the rooftops is a deep, clear blue, fading to purple in the east. A few stars have appeared, small and cold and distant. The fox can see easily in this light. Her eyes are made for dusk, for the in-between times. She turns toward the castle. The castle rises on the highest ground in the town, its walls built upon the walls of an older fort, and those upon foundations older still. The fox knows the paths that lead there. She has walked them many times in all seasons, following routes that foxes before her have followed, though she does not know this. The street climbs steadily. The houses here are larger, built of stone as well as timber, with courtyards behind high walls. Lanterns hang beside some of the doors, their candles just now being lit. The fox passes through pools of yellow light and shadow, light and shadow. She comes to the gate that leads to the castle approach. It is a wide gate, standing open during the day, but now it is swung half closed. A guard stands beside it, leaning against the stone, his spear resting in the crook of his arm. He is tired. His watch has been long. The fox pauses, observing. But there is another way. She turns aside, follows the wall to where a drainage channel runs beneath it. The channel is small, built to carry rainwater down from the castle yard. In heavy rain, it fills with rushing water, but tonight it is dry, filled only with leaves and the smell of damp stone. The fox enters. The passage is low and dark. Her whiskers brush the sides. She moves carefully, placing her paws with precision. The stone is cold here, untouched by sun. Water drips somewhere ahead, a slow, steady sound. The air smells of earth and rot and stone. She emerges on the other side, inside the castle's outer wall. Before her, the ground rises towards the castle itself, a broad slope of packed earth and gravel. To her left, the stables and barracks stand in a row, dark shapes against the darkening sky. To her right, the wall continues, curving around the perimeter. She can hear the guards on the battlements above, talking in low voices, the scrape of their boots on stone. The fox keeps to the edges, where the shadow is deepest. She moves along the base of the wall, past the stables where she can hear horses settling for the night, their soft waffling breaths, the occasional stamp of a hoof, past the barracks where men sleep or prepare for the night watch, their voices muted behind thick walls. She comes to the keep itself, the great tower that rises at the heart of the castle. Its walls are massive, built of blocks of pale stone, fitted so closely that a knife blade could not pass between them. Arrow slits pierce the walls at intervals, narrow openings that show no light. At the base of the keep, a door stands open. This is the entrance to the kitchens, where the servants come and go, where food is carried in and waste carried out. The fox approaches cautiously. She can smell roasted meat, bread, ale, the sharp smell of onions and turnips, wood ash, grease. A servant emerges, a young man carrying a bucket. He empties it against the wall, wipes his hands on his apron, goes back inside. The door remains open. The fox waits. When no one else appears, she slips through. Inside, the passage is narrow and lit by a single torch in a bracket on the wall. The torch sputters and smokes. The stone walls glisten with moisture. The fox moves quickly, staying close to the wall, where the shadow is darkest. The passage opens into the kitchen itself, a large vaulted room with a huge fireplace at one end. The fire has burned down to coals, glowing red and orange, casting a shifting light across the room. Long wooden tables are cluttered with the remains of the day's work. Pots, bowls, cutting boards, scraps of food. The smell is overwhelming, a mix of every food prepared here, layered and complex. The fox pauses in the doorway, assessing. 2 servants are still working, cleaning, putting things away. They move slowly, tired from the long day. They do not look toward the door. The fox slides along the wall, behind a pile of sacks beneath the table. From here, she can see the whole room. She waits, motionless. One of the servants takes up a candle and leaves through a doorway on the far side. The other follows a moment later, taking the torch from the wall. The room falls into near darkness, lit only by the glow of the coals. The fox emerges. She sniffs at a dropped scrap of meat, eats it quickly, finds a piece of bread beneath the table, carries it to the corner, eats that too. She is not particular. Food is food. She eats efficiently, without pleasure or haste, then moves on. Another doorway leads deeper into the keep. This passage is completely dark. The fox does not hesitate. She moves by feel and smell and the sense that foxes have, the awareness of space and obstacle. The passage turns, climbs a few steps, turns again. She can hear sounds now, voices somewhere above, footsteps, the distant clatter of something dropped. The castle is settling into night, but it does not sleep. There are always people awake, always guards on watch, always someone tending the fires or walking the rounds. The fox comes to a spiral stair, winding upward into darkness. She climbs. The steps are worn smooth in the center from centuries of feet. Her claws click softly on the stone, a sound so small it is lost in the vastness of the stairwell. She climbs past one landing, past another. The air grows colder as she rises. A draft moves down the stairs, carrying the smell of smoke and cold stone and night air from above. At the 3rd landing, the stairs open into a corridor. This corridor is wider, the ceiling higher. Tapestries hang on the walls, thick and heavy, their colours lost in the darkness. The floor is laid with tiles, and rushes are scattered across them, dried herbs mixed in for scent. The fox's paws whisper through the rushes. She passes closed doors, each one heavy wood bound with iron. Behind one, she can hear voices, low and indistinct. Behind another, nothing. The corridor is lit by a single candle in a far window embrasure, the flame barely moving in the still air. The fox reaches the end of the corridor. Here, another passage branches off, leading towards the great hall. She follows it. The passage slopes slightly downward, then opens into a wide gallery. On one side, tall windows look out over the town, though nothing can be seen through them now but darkness and the distant pinpricks of firelight. On the other side, arched openings look down into the hall below. The fox approaches one of the arches. She crouches at its edge, peering down. The great hall is enormous, its ceiling lost in shadow far above. At the far end, a massive fireplace holds a dying fire, its light barely reaching the center of the room. Long tables are arranged down the length of the hall, and benches beside them, all empty now. The floor is strewn with rushes, and the smell of smoke and food and many bodies lingers in the air. Beyond the tables, on a raised dais, stand two high-backed chairs. Even in the dimness, even from this distance, they are impressive. Dark wood carved with intricate designs, thick with the weight of age and use and significance. The throne room. The fox stares down at this space. She sees the shapes, the shadows, the faint glow of the fire reflecting off stone. She does not understand what it means, this room, these objects, but she observes it, as she observes everything, with the patient, steady attention of an animal. The hall is empty, it is silent. The thrones sit in their places, waiting for morning, for the return of life and purpose and human concerns. After a long moment, the fox withdraws from the arch. She turns back the way she came, retracing her path through the corridor, down the spiral stairs, through the darkened kitchen. The fire has burned lower still. The coals glow faintly, giving almost no light. The fox moves through the room like a ghost, silent and nearly invisible. She slips through the door, into the passage, out into the night. The air outside is cold and fresh after the closeness of the keep. The fox pauses, letting the cold wash over her, clearing her nose of the kitchen smells. Above, the sky is full of stars now, more stars than can be counted, scattered across the darkness like sand. She makes her way back across the castle yard, back to the drainage channel, through it, out into the town again. The guard at the gate has been replaced by another, or perhaps it is the same guard. She cannot tell and does not care. She avoids him as she avoided the first, keeping to the shadows. The town is quieter now. Most of the houses are dark. Here and there, candlelight shows at a window, or the glow of a banked fire. The streets are empty, except for the occasional cat, the occasional rat, the sound of the watchman on his rounds, calling the hour in a voice that echoes off the walls and fades. The fox takes a different route back, not the way she came. She wanders through streets she knows as well as the den where she was born, though that den is far from here now, in a wood beyond the town walls, abandoned long ago. She passes the cooper's shop, where barrels stand outside in neat rows, smelling of oak and water. She passes the candle makers, where tallow hangs in the window, pale and shapeless in the darkness. She passes the house where the fuller works, where the smell of urine and clay is always strong, even at night when the work has stopped. She comes to the river gate, the smallest of the town's gates, where the wall meets the river. The gate is closed and locked, but beside it, the river runs beneath the wall through an iron grate. The fox can hear the water moving, a soft, constant sound, peaceful and old. She sits for a while beside the gate, listening to the river. The sound is soothing. It speaks of distance and movement, of water running from the hills through the valleys, past villages and fields and forests, running toward the sea that the fox has never seen and will never see. A cool breeze moves up from the water, ruffling her fur. She closes her eyes. Her breathing slows. She is not sleeping, but she is resting in the way that foxes rest, always partly alert, always aware, but taking the stillness when it is offered. The bell rings again. Compline, the last office of the day. The monks will pray and then sleep until matins in the deep hours of the night. The town will sleep. The guards will watch. The night will pass as it always passes. The fox rises. She turns away from the river, back into the town. She is heading toward the eastern wall now, toward the place where she has made her den. She passes through a street of weavers' houses, where looms stand silent in the darkness, and the smell of wool and dye hangs in the air. She passes beneath the arch of an old gate, no longer used, its timbers rotted and patched with newer wood. She passes through a narrow alley where water trickles down the centre in a channel cut into the cobbles, carrying away the refuse of the houses above. The houses here are humbler, their timbers rough cut, their walls patched with wattle and daub. The roofs are low, the doorways are small. The fox knows these houses. She has sheltered beneath their eaves, hunted rats in their cellars, listened to the sounds of the families within, children crying, adults arguing or laughing, the everyday sounds of human life. At the end of the street, the town wall rises again. Here, where the wall meets the ground, stones have shifted over time, leaving a gap, a space just large enough for a fox. She squeezes through. On the other side of the wall, the land falls away steeply. Below lies the ditch that was dug when the wall was built, centuries ago, now filled with brambles and nettles and small trees growing wild. The fox picks her way down the slope, moving carefully in the darkness, following a path she knows by heart. At the bottom of the ditch, hidden among the brambles, is the entrance to her den. It is not large, not obvious, just a dark opening among the tangled roots and thorns. She pauses at the entrance, sniffing, checking. The scent is her own, familiar and safe. Nothing has disturbed this place. She enters. The tunnel slopes downward, then levels out. The earth is dry and cool, packed hard by her passage. The tunnel widens into a small chamber, just large enough for her to turn around, to curl up, to sleep. She circles once, twice, 3 times, preparing the space, checking for comfort, for safety. Then she lies down, curling herself into a tight ball, her tail wrapped over her nose. The earth is soft here, worn smooth. It smells of earth and fox and home. Above, beyond the tunnel, beyond the brambles, beyond the wall, the town continues its quiet nighttime life. The watchmen call the hours, the guards pace the walls. In the castle, servants tend the fires. In the monastery, monks sleep between prayers. In the houses, people dream. But the fox is not part of that world. She is part of the older world, the world beneath and around the human world, the world of animals and earth and the patient passing of time. She breathes slowly, her body relaxing, letting go of the alertness that has carried her through the evening. Her eyes close. Her breathing deepens. The night deepens too. The stars wheel slowly overhead, turning around the fixed point of the north. The moon, not yet risen when the fox entered her den, climbs above the horizon, a waning crescent, thin and pale. Its light falls across the town, across the castle, across the fields beyond, silvering everything it touches. In her den, the fox sleeps. The earth holds her. The darkness surrounds her. The night passes. Hours slide by, unmeasured and unmarked. The town sleeps. The guards change. The monks rise for matins, pray in their cold chapel, return to their beds. The fire in the great hall burns to ash. The stars continue their slow rotation. The fox dreams, if foxes dream. Her paws twitch. Her whiskers move. Deep in sleep, her body processes the day, the distances walked, the foods eaten, the smells encountered, the spaces navigated. Her mind, such as it is, sorts and stores and prepares for tomorrow. The night reaches its deepest point, the hours before dawn, when the darkness is complete and the world is most quiet. This is the time when the old and sick often pass from life, when birth is most difficult, when the boundary between day and day is thinnest. The fox sleeps through this time, undisturbed. Then, slowly, the darkness begins to thin. It is not light yet, not even close to light, but the quality of the darkness changes. It becomes less absolute. The stars fade, not because clouds have covered them, but because dawn is approaching, still far below the horizon, but coming. The fox stirs, her eyes open. She does not move otherwise, just lies still, breathing, listening. Above her, through the earth and roots and brambles, through the wall and streets, the town is beginning to wake. She cannot hear it yet, but she senses it, the way animals sense the coming change. She rises, stretches, shakes. She grooms briefly, licking her paws and drawing them over her face, smoothing her whiskers, cleaning the dust of the den from her coat. Then she moves to the tunnel entrance and pauses there, nose lifted, testing the air. The air is cold and damp, the smell of dew forming, of night giving way to day. The breeze has dropped. Everything is still, waiting. The fox emerges from the den. The brambles are dark shapes around her, the ditch a darker line below. Above, the wall rises against the sky, and the sky itself is no longer black, but the deep blue-grey of coming dawn. She climbs the slope of the ditch, slowly, without hurry. At the top, she squeezes through the gap in the wall, back into the town. The streets are empty still, the houses are dark, but here and there, a shutter is being opened, a door unbarred. Smoke begins to rise from chimneys as fires are rebuilt. The town is waking. The fox walks through the street of humble houses, past the weavers' houses, back toward the center of the town. She is not hurrying. There is no need to hurry. The day will come whether she hurries or not. She passes the bakery again. The bakers are already at work. She can hear them inside, their voices low, the scrape and thump of their work. The oven has been fired again. Soon the smell of baking bread will fill the street, but it has not yet. Now there is only the smoke and the sound of work beginning. She passes the well in the small square. A woman is there now, lowering the bucket, drawing water. The rope creaks, the bucket splashes far below, fills, is hauled up again, heavy and dripping. The woman pours the water into her own bucket, lowers the well bucket again. The fox watches from the shadows. The woman does not see her. The sky is lighter now, definitely lighter. The blue-grey has faded to grey, and in the east, beyond the rooftops, a pale line of yellow is beginning to show. The first birds are calling, tentative at first, then with more confidence. Sparrows in the eaves, a blackbird somewhere in a courtyard, a crow passing overhead, its harsh voice breaking the silence. The fox moves on. She is making her way back to the place where she began, beneath the eaves of the grain merchant's storehouse. She knows the route without thinking. Her paws know it. Her body knows it. She passes through the market square, empty and clean now, the stalls bare and waiting for the day's business. She passes the narrow lane where the cat sits again on the windowsill, watching, always watching. She passes the stable where the horses are stamping and waffling, awake and hungry. The sky grows brighter. The yellow line in the east widens, spreads, begins to shade toward gold. The stars are gone now. The last darkness is draining from the sky, replaced by the clear, cool light of early morning. The fox reaches the storehouse. The shadowed space beneath the eaves is just as she left it, just as it always is. She enters, turns, circles, lies down. The stone is cold now, no longer holding the warmth of yesterday's sun, but it will warm again. The sun will rise, the day will come, the heat will return to the stone. She rests her head on her paws. Her eyes close halfway. She watches the street, the growing light, the beginning of the day. A man walks past, carrying tools. A woman follows with a child on her hip. Voices begin to sound from the houses, muffled and distant. Shutters are opened, doors are unbarred. The town is waking, fully now. The night passed, the day begun. The bell rings, the first bell of the day, calling the monks to lauds, calling the town to prayer, to work, to the ordinary tasks of living. The fox's eyes close. She breathes slowly, steadily. The street brightens. The sun lifts somewhere beyond the eastern wall, not yet visible in the narrow lane, but present, its light touching the upper stories of the buildings, the rooftops, the smoke rising from the chimneys. The fox sleeps, the town wakes, and the day begins again, as it always begins, as it has begun for centuries, as it will begin tomorrow. The fox sleeps safe in her shadow, while the world goes on around her. Safe, still, at rest, sleep well.